is cryptocurrency legal? Is it regulated in any way? I found this article and I found it fascinating to get a better understanding of the crypto landscape, because I'm relatively new to actually paying attention to crypto, and I wanted to share that with you. This came out, I think, a couple days ago, so this is very recent. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to freaking see you. Okay, everything about crypto. This is from CryptoPragmatist.com. I'm sure you can just Google the title if you care to see it. This map is kind of interesting. So it just gives you a little tidbits of it, right? The United States has the highest Bitcoin trading volume in the world. That's interesting. First country to regulate cryptocurrencies in 2018 was Malta. China plans in motion to be first country to launch its own cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is, if China does that, oh man, cryptocurrency is insane. The blockchain and cryptocurrency is fascinating. That so much has developed in such a short period of time, from Bitcoin launching in 2009. The concept of being able to create your own money had never existed before, right? And I'm also going through the history of Ethereum right now too. So I'm going to have some future updates on. I'm going through the book now, and Bitcoin showed that it was possible to basically create your own fucking money and be outside of the government. So there's a fuckload of projects now, or products, or whatever you want to call them if they're finished. I think I've heard it around 20,000. I've never personally verified that, but I heard around 20,000 currencies, right? This is all outside of governments. Think about that for a second. This is all outside of governments. People all around the world have created different currencies, and the money flows, like the flows of money, how it moves around, is going into crypto very quickly. All of these things have value. This has happened in the last, since 2009, 13 years. That's a lot of growth. From nothing to 20,000 currencies, and we're just barely getting started. This is going to be crazy shit. There's also been exchanges to trade these digital currencies, right? Think Coinbase. But there's also decentralized exchanges. So you have things like Robinhood or Ameritrade or whatever trading platform you have or broker platform you have or use to access the securities market for stock, options, etc., bonds and whatnot, mutual funds. In the United States, you have to go through a broker. Well, this is all outside of all of that. And 20,000 of these have sprung up over the last 13 years. This is about to blow up with how much energy is like going in that direction. I thought it was fascinating. So, let's see this. First country to legalize salary payments in Bitcoin starting in 2019 September. Super fascinating. Didn't know that about New Zealand. India, latest country looking to regulate cryptocurrency despite its Supreme Court revoking a previous ban recently. Cryptocurrency is hard to regulate, and that's kind of what this article goes into, that in several different ways, but DeFi or decentralization, and then that whole finance related exchanges and doing all sorts of, you can get loans Like, these are projects you can do loan. Take your cryptocurrency, kind of give it to somebody else. Think of a bank, right? If you have cash, you give it to the bank, and you can get a loan on your cash. You can do the same thing in the blockchain cryptocurrency world. And we're just barely getting started. But how do you regulate that? Because there's no person to go after. I did have a question for you guys, though. I got to this section here, and I wanted to hear your thoughts. So it goes on to say, in regards to the currency market, the crypto market growing, it says that institutional money will not flow to these risky assets, implying that, or this is relating to cryptocurrency markets, without defined guardrails in place. So institutional money won't go there, it's saying, right? Because these are risky unless they provide some safeguard. And the safeguard they're talking about is regulation, like the SEC. And without institutional money, we don't see the global participation investors are hoping for. Now, it's really more so, this last part is why I wanted to bring this up. Do you believe that this is going 100% crypto, or do you think there's going to be a hybrid where or it's just going to be a transition that's longer, right, to 100% crypto? Because I don't personally think that, like, institutional money, meaning like pension funds and mutual funds and insurance companies and things like that, or like BlackRock and other places that have giant sums of money, won't go into some things like this, is what this is implying. I don't think that is necessary at all, because I think that this is way bigger than that to start with. So I'd like to hear what your thoughts are down below. This goes into the interesting part about the SEC. So that's a Securities and Exchange Commission, and how they don't really have any control over, right? And this guy right here, who is in the SEC, has, the only statements he's made is that, like, he is not, or that it's full of fraud, scams, and abuse. And he sits with the SEC. He's a chair in the SEC. Yet he used to teach a crypto class at MIT. So why would you change? And it goes on to say that if you're working somewhere, think if you were working at McDonald's, right? Somebody comes in there to get a burger. It's probably not a good strategy to tell that person that burgers in general are better across the street because they're not so shitty, right? It's probably not a good idea to proclaim that, and that is why, because they don't regulate it. The SEC doesn't regulate that shit, so they can't recommend something. Like, the McDonald's employee can't say that the burger's shitty and that they should go across the street, because you can't say that. That's what they say. This is where, like, it's happening right here. It's pretty fucking fascinating, actually. And then they go on to talk about this Ripple lawsuit, right? Since I've just started paying attention to crypto, it's come across my ear way too many times for me to, like, now it's like, you need to fucking pay attention to crypto. I've heard about crypto and had crypto in my life in the peripherally for a while, as early as 2013, and it continued to increase. So I knew it was fucking time to actually switch and go in this direction. And I've heard of XRP before, but I haven't heard a lot of about cryptos, or really, like, and many other cryptos as well besides this one. And I've received payments in them and paid people in them, but I wasn't, like, paying attention. And this is when the SEC is trying to sue XRP, right? So how are you suing the cryptocurrency, you're asking, right? Because it's decentralized. Well, there's still like a development team or something. Think of it as almost like a project for some people. So they're basically saying, this is the point of this coin, this cryptocurrency is this, right? And the holders of this currency will have these benefits, right? Some of them do that, some of them don't do much, right? Like Bitcoin doesn't do a lot, but other cryptos do things. And there's a team sometimes that takes to develop it. That process is not always decentralized from my current understanding. So they're suing the Ripple under the guise of these 3 questions. So this is called the Howie test. And for something to be a security, which is what the SEC regulates, it requires you to answer yes to the following 3 questions. So this, I would read this as yes to all of the following questions. Like it has to hit all of these and not just one of them. But the question is there an investment of money with the expectation of future profits? I'd say that was a no. Well, it depends on your point of view, actually, because a lot of people are probably actually putting money into crypto expecting it to make money in the future. So that one could be a yes, right? Is there investment of money in a common enterprise? Well, with XRP, there's a development team right behind it. So is that the common enterprise? Because some of these things, once they're done, there's no like it's just done. There's no like back end to that. I mean, you could hold like there's nothing to sue, right? You wouldn't have a cryptocurrency to sue once the project's all done. The only one I know of that is fully done is something called Hex, but I'm not big into this, so I don't understand a lot of the other available options out there. But super interesting project though we can talk about. Do any profits from the efforts of a promoter or third party? Do any profits come from the efforts of a promoter or third party? This would be no, right? So you'd have no to potentially 2 of these questions, potentially 3 depending on how you're looking at it or how you're defining that portion of it. And they're trying to sue on these grounds here. So the ruling of that could be super interesting in the United States because, and I'm just going to read this section here. If XRP isn't a security, then cryptocurrencies can basically operate as on-chain businesses and can launch without much regulatory oversight. This is what we want. This is amazing. If that was the case, well, the conclusion to this lawsuit is going to really potentially have a big impact for future regulations, like tremendously. They can also conduct buybacks and payouts without fear of legal retaliation. So, if XRP wins, right, because that's how Ethereum and Bitcoin operate, right? And basically the SEC has already kind of said that they couldn't do anything about Ethereum. So there's probably some grounds already to support XRP's claim that they are, decentralized and, they're definitely not a security. But then think about the possibilities here. And this is why I'm saying we're just at the very beginning of this. So say somebody has an idea for a business that can help impact the world in some way, and that's the purpose of that coin, token, cryptocurrency. That opens up a tremendous, crazy thing here too, because there's other ways of getting coins, and you can get them for free. Right? Because if there was one that I read about where they launched, and in order to launch, they just gave, I think it was Uniswap. Uniswap launched, and they just gave all old users their tokens or something like that. And it allowed them to trade around inside of that ecosystem. So nobody even had to pay for it at all, but there's tremendous value there. There's value in those. So think about having all of your money, so to speak, outside of regulations, serving a purpose that you want to impact the world. Like, I'm sure this is going to affect the physical world through some way, but I don't know yet. But this is crazy shit. So I found it super fascinating. The whole entire article, even the pace at which things are changing. So all these different projects could have different objectives about accomplishing things in the world, or solving problems, or rip-offs, right, and scams, right, because those are out there as well. But then they came out with exchanges like Coinbase, right? Well, that's the public exchange that most people use in the United States to access the crypto market. So basically, this is a doorway into all these things that have launched, to trading them around. So that if you have one and you want to get into a different project or a different coin to move your money into that area because you believe it's going to do better, or you believe that, or you want to support that, like, operandus, like whatever their MO is, you can do that. And then there's also decentralized exchanges where you can take cryptocurrency that however you might have gotten that, and you can change it for other cryptocurrency that is completely different. And I believe you can do that anonymously through the decentralized exchanges. That last part, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but if you can, that's fucking awesome. I want to talk to somebody more about that, so if you have information on that, you should post it down below. Interesting how the results of this is gonna happen. They also mentioned this article says that the SEC is trying to sue these guys in Singapore that are actually citizens of South Korea for their cryptocurrency. How they're trying to step on somebody else's citizens when they don't even operate in the United States and never have operated in the United States or anything along those things. Like, that's pretty crazy. So if they filed suit, the SEC actually filed suit against these guys in another country that they don't have any regulation over. Like, how are you? This is ridiculous. Anyways, in my opinion, I think this is absolutely ridiculous. It's just on the surface sounds so like crazy, but the United States wants to control a lot of shit, right? Clearly. So, anyways, appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you want to continue following along this journey, you should definitely subscribe. If you follow along on other platforms, I do a lot more fitness-related stuff. But probably the easiest way to get a hold of me is on Twitter or on Instagram, because on Twitter I get a lot less notifications than other places. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.